Okay, so today we are making some worm casting tea. I've never done this before. Like I said, I purchased this bubble snake compost tea aerator off of Amazon. It's this thing, and it comes with this clear plastic tube, and then you also have to purchase a pump. And it says for, let's see, for the brew size, for a 5-gallon, you want a 500 to 1,000 gallons per hour size air pump. So that's what this is, the one that I have. And they also have their own recipe for a compost tea and a website where you can go to learn more. So the Bubble Snake Compost Tea Aerator, just got it off of Amazon. We're gonna see how this works. So first I'm starting with 5 gallons of water that I left out overnight. If you have well water or filtered water or something that takes the chlorine out, then you don't need to let it sit overnight. Just make sure it's not hot because you don't want to kill all the organisms in the tea. I'm going to be pouring it in this bucket so that I can mix everything else in here. And normally you can do this in like a 5-gallon. I've seen people do it in a 5-gallon bucket or even some larger water barrels, but I don't have any of those right this second. This was what was available, so that's what I'm doing it in. So let's pour the water in. Okay, there's that. Now, like I said, I got this recipe from Angela Judd from Growing in the Garden, and she got the recipe from Arizona Worm Farm. You can find the recipe on Angela's website. They also sell this worm casting tea at Arizona Worm Farm, but I have everything and I figured I'd try it myself. So 5 gallons of water, then we've got 12 ounces of worm castings. I have some leftover worm castings that I purchased before I started my worm bin, and I mixed it with some fresh worm castings because I'm trying to use this up while my worm castings are getting going. So 12 ounces is about a cup and a half. Oh, I almost did that wrong. Okay, you also need some sort of mesh bag. This one is a little big for these purposes, but it's fine, it'll work. So I'm just gonna set this in here so if anything falls out, it will go into the water. So we're doing a cup and a half of worm castings. And then we're going to do 4 ounces, so about half a cup of handmade compost that is unscreened. I forgot to leave out some of my compost, so some of this is a little more broken down. Well, it's not as broken down as it could have been. So I'm putting half a cup in there. I didn't screen anything or pull anything out. It's fine. Then we have a half a cup or 4 ounces of decomposed wood chips. I just happen to have a large piles of wood chips on my back lot because we are spreading it around our trees. It's been sitting there for a couple months. It's probably not as decomposed as it could be, but that's all right. We're gonna put that in there. Then we've got, okay, I'm gonna tie this up. That's all the, well, it's not all the dry ingredients yet, so I guess I'll wait. Okay, we'll go down the line. So 2 tablespoons of humic acid. I just got this off of Amazon. I I'm sure you can get it at garden centers or wherever, but Amazon is convenient for me right now. I'm gonna shake it up.
Everything has Amazon.
Ooh. I'm also gonna throw it everywhere. So we're just gonna pour it right into the liquid. So 2 tablespoons. I should probably have gloves on of humic acid.
Acid myself.
Okay, 2 tablespoons of kelp meal, but I have liquid kelp, so we're gonna do that. 2 tablespoons, 1, 2 liquid kelp, 2 tablespoons of fish hydrolysate. This is liquid fish, and it is smelly. Oh, this is looking delicious already. Okay, then we've got 2 tablespoons of, this is black soldier fly larva. Never used this before, but that's what they're calling for in their recipe. This stuff I just got off of Amazon as well. It's called Boogie Black, and it's black soldier fly larva. Supposedly really good for your garden and stuff. So I'm gonna take 2 tablespoons of that and put it in the bag as well. Okay, we're gonna close this up. Put this away. Now, we're gonna close this mesh bag up. We're gonna take the pump. The air comes out of this little hole here in the bottom. We're going to put it in here, and it will aerate this water to keep it from turning anaerobic, basically to keep it from fermenting and turning nasty before you can use it. And I'm gonna move this closer to an outlet, and then I'm gonna plug it in, and I'll show you what it looks like. Then we're gonna let it sit for 24 to 27 hours while the pump is going continuously, and then you have to use it within 3 to 4 hours after you stop the pump. So I'll be back here tomorrow morning, spreading it around everywhere. We'll see how it goes. Okay, I threw some plastic over this because I don't want things flying in it or my dog to get in it. So I'm gonna plug it in and we'll see. Okay, also, after the first hour, I'm gonna take the compost, the worm castings, and the mulch out of this bag, and I'm gonna replace them with new stuff. And then after the second hour, I'm gonna do it again. After the third hour, I am going to take the bag completely out and let it finish aerating overnight. So I've got extra worm castings and mulch and wood chips right there to add after the first hour and after the second hour, and then we'll take the bag out. Alright, so I ended up sticking a brick on top of that little hose there so that it would stay under the water. I think if it was in a taller bucket that it wouldn't have that issue, but it kept wanting to fall over, and I don't think the brick is going to hurt it. Just make sure that your pump is in an area where it's going to be dry and out of the sun. This part of the house usually stays shady throughout the whole day, so this should stay cooler and out of the sun and I'll be back in an hour to switch things out. Alright, I've unplugged the bubbler. This is the third time I'm going to be switching out the ingredients in this bag. I'm going to drain them out, squeeze it out, go throw it in the compost pile, add some fresh ingredients for the third time, and set the timer for another hour. Alright, it's been 3 hours. So I'm going to take the bag out of the bucket. I'm going to go empty it in my compost, leave it out while the rest of this continues to bubble overnight. And then we will use it tomorrow. And I'll show you how that goes. Alright, here we go. It's been around 24 hours and it says to let it bubble for 24 to 27 hours, so I'm gonna unplug it now. And I'm gonna put some gloves on. And then I'm gonna take out the brick and the bubbler real quick. I tried to tape it in yesterday and that didn't work. The water line has gone down a little bit from evaporation, which makes sense. There's the brick. Empty out this tube. Okay. So I have here a funnel and a cup. I don't have, at this time I don't have one of those hose sprayers, or I suppose I could use one of those pump sprayers, but I didn't want to do that this time either. So I'm just going to take this cup and the funnel and I'm going to pour this into my watering can and take it to my garden. I'm just mostly going to saturate the leaves because my garden was just watered yesterday and I don't want to overwater it. In the tower, I think I'm going to dilute some of this and water the tower with this diluted with a bunch of water. And then I'm going to take some of this and spray it on my trees in the back. So I will take you to do that. So we've got 16 trees back here and I'm gonna put some of the worm casting tea on all of them, just a bit. Right about now I'm thinking that a pump sprayer would be more efficient because it's portable, sprays more evenly, but we'll do that next time. So here we go. Okay, what I've learned from this, from doing it once, is it's really not that difficult. It's just a little time consuming. My watering can kept getting stuck at the end, so I ended up taking the filtering end off of it, and it was still getting clogged. It gets clumpier and full of debris and pulp more towards the end of the bucket. So next time I would definitely use a strainer to strain it as I'm pouring it into the watering can. And I wouldn't use a watering can. Next time I'll get a pump sprayer. It'll just allow me to apply it more evenly, and I think that'll work better. 5 gallons seemed to be plenty for what I needed it for right now. I even had extra. I put some in my compost piles, some on some other bushes that we have out here, and I don't know, we'll see how it goes. They said you can apply it like once a month, 3 times a year is probably good. I'm thinking I'll probably lean more towards the 3 times a year, and we'll see how it goes. I think it's going to be good for the plants and their growth and for disease protection. And I will list some other things in the comments about why worm casting tea is good for your plants and garden.